Okay, looks like it's live. Good, 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 good. All right, guys, please make sure to give this video a like, a share. Definitely share it. Get it somewhere. Get it in front of some eyeballs. Um, Back again. I was just live on my smaller channel, so if you want to go check that stream out, just type in Mike Nificent 813 on YouTube if you're not subscribed over there. I would like to get that channel up to 1,000 subscribers actually, because then once the economy does open back up and I can go live and do all the stuff I was doing before, man on the street things like that, I'll be able to do that from my phone. Whereas right now I can't do it because it's less than 1,000 subscribers. So I'm really close. I think I'm at like 930. So if you can go over there and subscribe to that backup channel, please. And we got a nice little crowd watching. Let me give you guys a few shout outs. What's up, Tommy Gunn, Sullivan 3, RCCGC, right? Dula View LLC, Cindy. What's going on, guys? Are you guys going crazy? Do you have cabin fever yet? I hope you're able to get out in nature. Major key. Major key. What's up, Tiffany Ferguson? How's everybody doing? Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Maybe share it somewhere. Share it on Twitter if you can. Who else we got? Wrestling Superstar 83. Let's open up this economy and get back to work. That's right. That's right. Let's do the damn thing. Like, what are we even doing right now? What are we doing? What are we doing? Besides prolonging the inevitable. We're prolonging the inevitable. Period. There's no debate to be had about that. We are prolonging the inevitable. And what's funny is they keep talking about the only way we can get back to normal is via vaccine or herd immunity. I'm like, okay, how are you going to get to herd immunity by keeping everybody away from the virus? If anything, you're weakening people's immune systems. Like, think about how many viruses your body fights off every single day. You live in a germy world. Your body's been fighting off viruses all the time. All the time. If you could see every germ out there, you would be the biggest germaphobe there ever was. There's no difference now compared to the way things were before. Like there's nothing different. It's just another thing that you have to worry about. Another thing added to the laundry list of viruses and deadly bacteria and stuff out there. Think about all the bizarre, random things that have happened to people. Just random stuff. Like there's something for those of you that live up north in the Great Lakes area. I know when I was living in Minnesota, they had some rare like worm or something. If you were swimming in a lake, I don't know if it's a worm or some kind of virus, but it gets in through your nasal passageway, and then it can kill you because it attaches itself to your brain or something like that. And it happened to like a handful of people, but people still swam in lakes, even though it was rare. The point I'm making is it's just like, man, this stuff is just a part of life. It's just things that happen, right? I know that rubs people the wrong way. Somehow that's a spicy opinion, even though it's just the truth. I'm just stating facts. It's just the truth. Okay. So yes, we got to get back to work ASAP. And we got to stop printing money. Trump even wants to start printing more money. Trump wants to do that. I'm like, no, we need to open the economy up. And I know he wants to open the economy, but he's also like, we need the, whatever he's calling it, the paycheck protection thing. I mean, do whatever you got to do to keep the small businesses afloat. But the sooner we get back to the economy moving again, the better. So anyway, let's get started. I'm behind on a few of these topics that I'm going to be discussing here. I want to quickly, and then move on from that, discuss the Obama endorsement of Joe Biden, which should come as a surprise to nobody because, I mean, of course he's got to endorse Joe Biden. The question is, what took so long? What took so long? You waited until there was nobody else on the planet to endorse? That's convenient. And then I have friends on the left, people that are acting like this is earth-shattering. like somehow this is going to get her done. This will push Joe Biden over the top. Like, oh man, fire emoji. Obama endorsed Trump or endorsed Biden. He should endorse Trump. But no, he endorsed Biden. And it's like, okay, like, is that something to get excited about? That's like being the last person picked for the kickball game and then you celebrate it. Or being the last guy on earth and now the girl wants to date you. It's like, okay, let's celebrate that. And also, what does an Obama endorsement actually mean? What does it mean? Does it actually mean that Joe Biden's going to win? Well, I mean, is it powerful? Does it matter? The answer is no. If Obama's endorsement really carried some weight, he would have endorsed Joe Biden early on, which begs the question, if it's so important, why didn't he do it early on? Why did he make us go through all of those debates and all the cringy pandering? If he would have just endorsed Joe Biden on day one, he could have wrapped up the nomination, right? But instead, he waited until there was nobody else left, like literally after Bernie dropped out. And then also the Democrat Party, of course, they're so woke, they're so progressive. Oh my gosh, we love women, we love people of color, we're a youthful party. Well, why do you have an old white guy as your nominee? When you had youth, you had women, you had minorities. Obama didn't endorse any of them. He waited and then endorsed Biden. You can't make this stuff up, but let's act like it's a big deal. Right? It's just, and like, who actually was waiting for Obama to endorse him before they say, okay, now I support Joe Biden because Obama said it's okay. Obama endorsed him. So now I'm on Biden's bandwagon. Who are those Americans out there that were waiting for this endorsement so they can say, okay, now I'm on board with it? It's dumb. And then Lizzie Warren came out and endorsed him yesterday too. I'm like, that's even worse. That's like, what was she waiting for? Dumb. Anyway, speaking of endorsements, let's talk about Vernon Jones. You guys hear about Vernon Jones? If you haven't heard about Vernon Jones, he is a Georgia Democrat state rep who made a video, I think he put it on his Twitter page, of him endorsing Trump. And he was saying that he's a lifelong Democrat and he is still a Democrat. He said he hasn't left the party left him. And he's endorsing Trump for re-election because lowest Black unemployment, prison reform, funding the HBCUs. And he could have mentioned a lot more things, but he mentioned the big three. I think those are probably the biggest achievements of his presidency so far. Anyway, he mentioned those things and he said, yeah, I endorse Donald Trump. He didn't boast or brag. He didn't put on a MAGA hat. He just said, hey, I'm a lifelong Democrat and I'm endorsing Donald Trump. You would think that's no big deal, right? Wrong. You know, for all of the time that I've been on this earth, the problems facing humanity, the biggest problem facing humanity is not famine, wars. It's not viruses or pandemics. The biggest problem facing the world is a Black person who dares to think for themselves, who has an opinion that's outside of the mainstream, who betrays the tribe, right? Someone who doesn't see themselves as part of some group based on some immutable characteristic. It's somebody that stands alone. That's the big problem. At least that's what the Georgia Democrat Party thinks, because apparently that was news. They think that's a big deal. So of course they rushed out there to shame him and slander him, saying he's an Uncle Tom. He's not a real Democrat. Let's endorse his primary opponent. And they're actually looking into the possibility of punishing him. What does that mean? You're going to give him lashes? What kind of punishment? How are you going to punish a grown man for having his own opinion? What are you talking about here? This is what gets me so mad. It feels like every year, right around election time, whether it's local, state, or national, you have this kind of friction that pops up where a Black person who, God forbid, has their own mind and decides to use it, and they don't toe the party line of the Democrat Party, there's a reason why we call it the plantation. There is a actual reason why you call it the Democrat plantation, because that's what it is. It's a cult. It's literally a cult. It's like, if your skin is black, you belong in this box. You're not allowed to think outside of it. Here's a 3x5 index card of approved opinions. This is what you're allowed to think. Here's your worldview. Here's your goggles. Racism is the biggest problem facing you, and that's what you need to say every time you're on TV. You're not allowed to think of yourself as an individual because we said so. And if you go outside of that, we're going to send some sheepdogs after you because you're a slave. We're going to send slave catchers after you. That's what they act like. So they're acting like this. They're talking about basically handing down sanctions, trying to kick him out of his party. I can't believe the local news reported this. I'm thinking, this is not news. I mean, a common sense person, if you beam down an alien and said, hey, what do you think about this scenario right here, this situation? They'd be like, so he shared his own opinion and they're mad about it? I mean, most people would see that that's kind of crazy. That's weird and creepy. But again, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's all about control. They have a weird obsession with controlling people. Why else would you give a damn who he endorsed? He endorsed the president of the United States, who's actually done quite a bit for Black people, even though Black liberals like to deny it. They like to live in this fantasy world where they bring up lies. They continue to recycle lies like, oh, he mocked a disabled reporter. Oh, he said good people on both sides. They just keep bringing up the same lies. When you present facts to them, they have no comeback for it whatsoever. They just continue coughing up emotions. That's what it's all about. It's all about emotions. And then these hypocrites are going to go around and support Joe Biden, who voted for the freaking crime bill, who's done he has a horrible record with the Black community. They won't say anything about Obama endorsing him. See, these people are hypocrites. And they make the Black community look so bad. It's like we're the only race on the planet that eats our own, because we act like we have to be a monolith. We all have to stick together. You have to think this. See, it rolls off me like water off a duck. You can call me whatever name you want, whatever makes you feel good inside, you go right ahead and do it. But just know, if you're going to call me an Uncle Tom, I'm going to turn around and say, so you're calling me the hero, or you don't read? You're letting me know you don't read, because if you read the book, you'd know that Uncle Tom was the hero of the book. That's another story, right? So this guy endorsed Trump, not boasting, not bragging, and he's getting slammed right now. I saw Roland Martin talking about it. Just, they can't handle it. And you know what? They can act like this all they want. They can endorse his primary opponent, whoever that is. They can shame him. They can kick him out of the Democrat Party in Georgia. They can do whatever, but it's going to backfire on them. If it hasn't already, it will backfire. They're screeching over there on the left because they've lost control of people. They lost control. I believe there's this massive campaign that's been going on for about 2 years now. It's called the Walk Away campaign. Massive campaign of people, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, everybody telling their story, giving their testimony of why the left is insane and why they're leaving the Democrat Party. How come there's no massive campaign of people going to that party? Does it even exist? Outside of someone like Mitt Romney or some random rhino Republican that wants to grandstand and say, oh, I hate Trump, I'm going to join the Democrats and switch parties. Who do you know in your personal life that's like, I'm going to go to that party over there? This is what I support now, and let me make a video. Let's have this big, momentous campaign about it. That doesn't exist, but you have a drove of people, a mass exodus from the Democrat Party, and it's in the Black community. So we will see a higher turnout for Trump. I don't know how much. It's not going to be the majority. I doubt it'll even be half, but it's going to be noticeable. It will be noticeable. And that's what they're most upset about, is they've lost control of the narrative. People are waking up. People are seeing what's happening. They see how crazy the Democrats are. They see the Democrats have done nothing for black people except put us in chains and then put us in brain chains and then put gatekeepers on television like Don Lemon and Roland Martin, or rappers, ignorant rappers, to shame anyone who dares use their own mind. So props to Vernon Jones. I actually sent him a message on Twitter. We'll see if he gets back to me. He doesn't have a lot of followers, surprisingly, but I bet they're going up now. But anyway, I sent him a message, and you never know. Maybe he'll be a guest on the channel. Moving along, World Health Organization defunded, or the funding has been suspended while they investigate. And it's about damn time. It's about damn time. This is a long time coming. Next, hopefully, the UN, we can defund them. I'm tired of these bureaucracies, man. They have too much power as it is. You have people that fund those organizations who don't have our best interests in mind. They have their own agenda, and they're basically the puppet master. They're controlling mouthpieces like Fauci and other people that are under that umbrella to push narratives. And then you have lawmakers listening to them. So that's shadow governing at its finest. And what I love about it, it pisses off all the right people. Bill Gates is mad about this. Well, Bill Gates, I guess you should dig a little deeper in your pockets, because now you're their top funder. Maybe you and China can just be their biggest funders. It's not like they're an unbiased organization anyway. They've been politically active from the beginning of this pandemic anyway. Right? Lying for China, spreading misinformation and their propaganda while trying to make the US look bad, talking about Trump's travel ban is racist and xenophobic. It stigmatizes, lying about the human-to-human transmission. So, yeah, good. The media's upset. The left is outraged. Bill Gates is outraged. So that must mean it was the right thing to do. So I'm happy Trump did that. That's all I have to say about that. We'll see what happens going forward, because it's just suspended. So we'll see. I guess Trump said that we're ready to open up the economy. He issued some guidelines like not even 30 minutes ago. So if you want to put some of those in the chat, what they are, I haven't looked into them yet just because he just wrapped up. But I know that he's leaving it up to the states, and different states are going to open up in different times. And we'll see how it works, man, because here's what I think. This is honestly what I think. And it scares me a little bit as far as the election goes, because think about this, okay? The states that are locked down right now, well, a lot of states are locked down, but there are states that are locked down that have Democrat governors. And why that's a problem is Trump is allowing the governors to handle this pandemic at the state level. So if there's a governor out there in a state that Trump needs to win re-election, like, I don't know, Michigan and Wisconsin, and I believe Pennsylvania, I think all three of those states have Democrat governors. Okay, so what if those three states, which Trump absolutely needs to win re-election, what if they all say, no, we're going to keep social distancing in place all the way through the election, and we're going to do mandatory mail-in ballots. Now, I don't know if that needs to be approved from the Fed or what, but if these governors have any say, they're going to make it so their constituents can't go out and vote. They can only vote by mail. Are you picking up what I'm putting down here? That's all they have to do. Mandatory mail-in ballots in states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia. Boom, there you go. What better way to steal the election than to have mail-in ballots mandatory in those swing states? It doesn't matter if California and New York stay locked down because those are going to be, they're going to go for Biden anyway. But these blue states that are swing states, it makes you wonder, since they have power and they're able to dictate how the election's going to go at the state level because of the global pandemic, right? What are they going to do as far as the election goes? Will Trump step in if they don't open up before that time? Because then, that creates a whole nother problem. He's being a dictator, I'm just saying, I'm just projecting into the future, just wondering if that's something that might happen. If it does, that's something we got to look out for. That scares me a little bit, because if they can swing some of those states, thank God it won't be happening in Florida, but imagine, among other crazy things, imagine if Andrew Gillum were governor of Florida. On top of that, there would be Democrat governors in all of the major swing states. Oh, and North Carolina too. I don't know if North Carolina's governor is Democrat, but I know for a fact Michigan and Wisconsin are. So someone said base dictator Trump. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be fine, but that's what could potentially happen. That's something to look out for. So we'll see. But I do think that Florida, unless DeSantis says something about extending the lockdown, we should be opening back up May 1st, which will be great. Same with other states like Texas. What else? Speaking of some of these blue states, let's talk about the Michigan protest yesterday, where they all descended on Lansing in their cars, and the governor's reaction. The governor's reaction to it was the best. She was so pissed, and she just doubled down on it. She's like, this was nothing but a political stunt. They were talking about pro-life stuff. They had Trump flags. They had "Don't Tread on Me" flags. She was actually upset. Instead of saying, you know what, I understand you guys are upset about these orders that are in place, she went out there. She's like, well, there's a lot of snow in the Upper Peninsula, so Mother Nature has something to say about this too. She just was, it was hilarious. Hopefully Michigan makes the right decision. I don't know when she's up for re-election, but hopefully Michigan can figure it out. But here's the thing. I understand why they would go down and protest, but I think what would have been more effective would have been to just do what you want, because you're protected by the Constitution. And even though the governor issued some executive order, which is just her opinion written on a piece of paper, how does she enforce that without violating the Constitution? If it's unconstitutional, keep doing you. I think that, to me, is a more effective way to protest. Protest by rebellion. Otherwise, it's just basically you're begging a tyrant to loosen the chains around your neck, right? Going down to the Capitol, that's effective, but is it though? I mean, it didn't change anything. It just let her know that they're really pissed off, which you should do that. She should know that you're pissed off, but why not just go boating, go fishing? Are they going to be able to arrest everybody? They can't do that. We will always outnumber the tyrants, always. The slaves have always outnumbered the slave masters, and we, the people, will always outnumber those in power. That's always the case. That's why they have to use mental mind control. That's why they have to control us. That's why they have to make us demand the chains of our own enslavement. That's exactly why, in case you were wondering. If they don't have you in bondage physically, they'll do it mentally. We're always going to outnumber them. Yeah, I'm keeping this short, by the way, guys. So I'm just kind of zipping through these. I do want to talk about the documentary Out of Shadows, because so many people have reached out like, Mike, make sure you go see this. You need to see this, Out of Shadows. I heard about it and I watched it and it was phenomenal. I sent it to people. Right away, actually, because I knew it was going to be good. So I'm like, hey, just check this out. And I had heard, I think Anomaly gave like a review of it before I watched it. And it was great. The thing with that documentary, it opened my eyes on a few things. I knew most of the stuff that they talked about in there, And and they talked about like television and channels and programming and all that stuff. That was pretty mind blowing. I've said tell live vision, but tell a vision. That was pretty deep. I think that documentary does a lot to wake people up without going over the top and speculating and getting into some like QAnon stuff, because I think that would turn people off. But if you just present the facts from somebody who's neutral, I mean the guy that was narrating it most of the time, or the guy that they profiled, whoever he was, that stunt man, he he didn't sound like some staunch Republican or right winger. He didn't sound like a liberal. He just sounded like a guy that was interested in the truth. So I think that will help bring people in, helps build rapport, builds up the credibility of the film because it's not pushing an agenda. But the fact that that thing has like 6 million views and it's only been out for like 5 days, that's tremendous. So I think that will go a long way to waking people up. I think that people are finally starting to get it. I know in my last video, I was like, man, conservatives are starting to cave. It's because I felt like conservatives were starting to cave because of the freak out of everything going on. But I was never worried that they're going to go and turn to some mainstream media and be like, okay, I'm going to be a brainwash now. I feel like people who didn't know anything that was going on, they're aware now. They're awake. They're paying attention. They see what's going on. They're trying to piece it together. If you think about it right now, this shutdown, there are no Hollywood films in production. There's nothing going on. There's no sports to distract people. I mean, yes, there's Netflix and all that stuff for people to binge watch, but a lot of people, especially people I know, are watching alternative media. They're digging into things. They're looking up Bill Gates. That just gave me so much joy to go look at every post. I looked at least, I don't know, 6 or 7 random posts from Bill Gates, tweets, Instagram posts, and the comments are lit. Bill Gates is getting roasted. People in different languages cussing him out. I could tell, at least I assume. They didn't look like happy comments. People are lighting Bill Gates up. So if that many people from all around the world are aware and hip to the game, how are they going to be able to carry out their agenda? This is something they didn't plan for. They had no idea that this many people would be awake. How are you going to get that many people to accept the beast system? It does seem like there's still a lot of brainwashed people, a lot of people asleep, and that's true. There are a lot of people still asleep. But there are a lot of people that are awake now. Like it was to the point where I was looking at Bill Gates's Twitter and I was like, let me see if there's anybody in the comments that agrees with him or is saying like, love you, Bill Gates, keep doing what you're doing. I couldn't find a single comment. And I scrolled for a good 5-6 minutes. It was to the point where I was looking for a positive comment because everything else was just roasting him, talking about how he wants to do trial periods of vaccines. And they actually did do trial periods of vaccines in India, and vaccine damaged a bunch of kids, paralyzed kids. How they want to use countries in Africa as like guinea pigs, pretty much. They want to test vaccines on people in Africa, and how people are like, I'm not taking that vaccine. Not taking the vaccine. Sorry, Bill Gates. And clowning him over being upset about the World Health Organization is beautiful. It's great. So people are waking up. That means people are seeing this documentary. It's a wonder that YouTube hasn't taken it down or flagged it for misinformation or something like that. I don't know of any documentary packed with that much truth that's gotten that many views. I've seen some good ones too, but they get suppressed. They'll get like maybe 100,000, 200,000 views, but not 6, 7 million where it's viral. And this is just in the first 5 days. So it's great. I hope whoever made that makes another one. I hope they keep it going. They didn't make it a series. Because it's like when you wake up, when you snap out of it, you can't unsee it. Once you're awake, you're awake. You don't go back to sleep. And they could have never imagined this. Their global structure, their planning, they didn't account for a president like Trump. They didn't account for an internet with videos. They didn't account for independent content creators that can splice together old clips and make all these documentaries and fan it out to the masses and show them like, hey, look, here's what's going on. When you watch all these video clips together, this is the big story. They didn't account for any of that. So now they're scrambling. It's just great, man. Yes, please hit the thumbs up, guys. Thank you. Thank you. So if you haven't seen Out of Shadows yet, I recommend that you do. Out of Shadows. And I think you got to type it in all one word on YouTube. Out of Shadows. So that did change. If you just type Out of Shadows, 3 different words, you get a bunch of random stuff. Someone said, what documentary is this? It's called Out of Shadows. Type it in. Out of Shadows, all one word. Out of Shadows. Came out 5 days ago. It's got like 6 million views. If you haven't seen any of the, what can I compare it to, really? I don't know. It talks about what's going on with Hollywood. It talks about MK Ultra, how the CIA infiltrated Hollywood, how they control the media, how it's all about control. And this is a lot of stuff that I've been saying, just in a probably a much less articulate way from the beginning. It's like you're born into a structure of control. No one ever questioned their reality. They were just born into it. Born with a 9-digit tracking number. We're just a number to the system. That's it. Your picture's not on your social security card. You're just a number to them. We're test subjects. We're lab rats. That's what they see us as. So it talks about a lot of those things. It talks about how I think like 6 corporations control like 90% of the media, how there's a monopoly over the food industry. There's only a handful of companies that control the food industry. They've consolidated a lot of power, and part of the New World Order agenda is to continue consolidating that power. They want to keep this locked down so Amazon can control the supply chain and global distribution. Think about it. Big companies, big stores are open, not mom and pop retailers. Nope, you can only go to Walmart to get your groceries. Big box retailers, that's all that's open. We're shutting down the smaller competitors, right? It's all about consolidation of power. It's always what it has been about. But anyway, Unite America first. You can see the police state. Props to Will. Is Will Johnson in the room? I need to collaborate with him. Anyways, guys, I'm wrapping up. I've got some things to take care of tomorrow, and I talked about it on my second channel, but I'll go ahead and tell you guys here, just because I may be away for a couple days to a week after tomorrow. But for those of you that don't know, my dog has cancer, and tomorrow I'll be saying goodbye. So yeah, it's really tough, but you know, he fought as long as he could, and it looks like he's ready to cross that rainbow bridge. So I'll be taking care of that tomorrow, and I'll need to be away for a little while, obviously. But I just want to thank all of you who knew about this before. Plenty of you, more than enough of you guys have sent messages, emails. You guys have donated. You guys have just given me all kind of advice, like try this diet. You know, you guys have been just such a huge support throughout this entire process. So I just want to thank every last one of you for that. You guys were very generous, like helped with getting his food and stuff, had to put him on a special diet, but yeah, that's what's going on. So I'll be saying, and I'll post a picture of him if you guys haven't seen him, but I put him on my Facebook, I thought, a while ago. But yeah, it's I'll be saying goodbye to my dog tomorrow, unfortunately. But yeah, guys, that's why I want to keep this short. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So God bless all of you guys. Thank you for tuning in, liking, sharing, subscribing. Don't forget to follow me on social media accounts. I'll be back soon. You probably won't even really notice I'm gone just because I don't make videos every single day. I would like to, but just want to let you guys know, keep you guys in the loop. I can't just disappear on you like that. Let me put this last super chat on the screen here. And someone sent me one earlier too. I want to thank you, whoever that was that sent one earlier. I'm trying to scroll up. Rubies, thank you. Also, LD, thank you for all you do, Mike. Latinos for Trump 2020 because the left does not own our vote. So sorry to hear about your fur baby. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, the left, they're losing. They're losing. This is why they are. This is why they're hating on Vernon Jones, trying to shame him because they're a cult. You're not allowed to think different. You're not allowed to have your own opinions. You must toe the line of the Democrat Party, or else it's weird. It's creepy. It's not normal, especially in the Black community. It is the weirdest thing. We have Stockholm syndrome. We pledge our allegiance to the party that enslaved us, and there was no party switch because they still feel entitled to the fruits of our labor. They're still as racist as ever. If you don't believe me, go look up Vernon Jones on Twitter and look at the comments and look at the people who are leaving those comments. I said I was wrapping up, and I mean it now. You got me. I was going to get started on that again, but I addressed it at the beginning of the video. So anyways, guys, God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Say a prayer for me. Say a prayer for my dog, man. I appreciate all of you guys. God bless you. I'll catch you in the next stream.